They silenced the messenger, so Earth declared total war. Ethan Harper sat in the quiet control room of the orbital communications station. The room was small, lined with screens, buttons, and blinking lights. Outside the windows, Earth looked calm, a blue and white marble spinning slowly in space. But inside, Ethan felt a cold knot in his stomach. Something was wrong. For weeks, his sensors had picked up strange signals. At first, the scientists in the station had dismissed them as background noise, random bursts from distant stars. But Ethan had learned to listen carefully. He had studied the signals, decoded parts of them, and finally realized they were messages. They were intelligent, urgent messages sent from deep space toward Earth. Ethan knew he had to act fast. He tapped his console, pulling up the latest signal. The message had a name attached to it, Lyra. She was an alien diplomat from a distant world called Vierlia. According to the translation software, her message was short but desperate. "They are coming. They plan to destroy you. Warn your people. Do not wait." Ethan's heart pounded. A warning like this could not be ignored. He had seen science fiction stories where humans made contact with aliens, but he never thought it would happen to him. He took a deep breath and prepared to send the message to Earth's leaders. But before he could finish, the station shook violently. Alarms blared. Red lights flashed across every panel. Ethan grabbed the console, trying to steady himself. "They're here," he shouted. Outside, through the thick glass, Ethan saw a small ship approaching at impossible speed. It was sleek and dark, almost invisible against the stars. He realized it must be the alien forces Lyra had warned about. They had found him. Ethan typed quickly, trying to transmit the message before it was too late. But a sudden pulse of energy hit the station. Sparks flew and screens went black. The communication link cut off. The message was gone. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing heavily. The ship hovered for only a moment, then shot away, leaving the station damaged and empty. The silence that followed was deafening. When Earth received the signal that the station had gone dark, panic spread. Military leaders and scientists scrambled to understand what had happened. Ethan was brought before a panel of officials. They looked at him with a mixture of skepticism and worry. "You're saying there was an alien message?" asked General Miller, a tall man with a stern face. "Yes," Ethan replied, "and it warned that an alien coalition plans to attack Earth. They are powerful. They will not hesitate to destroy us." The room was silent. Then a scientist named Laura Bennett spoke. "How can we be sure it wasn't a malfunction or a hoax? These signals could be anything. Space is full of strange noise." Ethan shook his head. "I've studied these signals for months. This was not noise, it was intelligence. Someone tried to warn us and then they were silenced. That is proof enough." But his words were met with doubt. The officials argued among themselves. Some wanted to investigate further. Others thought it was too dangerous to act without more evidence. Time was slipping away, and Ethan knew every second counted. Back at the station, Ethan and a small team of engineers began repairing the communications array. They needed to try again. Maybe the aliens had not destroyed all the messages. Maybe they could still reach someone who would listen. Meanwhile, Lyra, the alien diplomat, watched from her ship far away. Her face was calm but worried. She knew the coalition would stop at nothing to prevent humanity from learning the truth. They wanted to keep humans blind until it was too late. Lyra had spent months trying to reach out to humans. She had hoped that at least one of Earth's leaders would listen. But now, with her messenger silenced, the task was harder than ever. Back on Earth, Ethan worked with Laura and other scientists. They used every resource available. They scanned the stars, looking for any sign of the alien fleet. Strange energy patterns, sudden bursts of light, and unusual movements all suggested that something big was coming. As night fell over the planet, Ethan thought about what Lyra had said. "They are coming. Do not wait." He realized that waiting was no longer an option. If Earth hesitated, it might be too late. He decided to act. Late at night, when the offices were empty and the lights were dim, Ethan sent a direct message to Clara Benson, a naval strategist known for her clear thinking and courage. Clara had overseen several space defense programs, and Ethan trusted her judgment. The message was simple: alien coalition planning attack, warning intercepted, immediate action needed. Clara read the message in her office and felt her stomach tighten. She had always known that humanity was not alone in the galaxy. But this was the first time she faced the real possibility of war with beings far more advanced than humans. She called an emergency meeting with her team. Engineers, pilots, and scientists crowded into the strategy room. Maps of the solar system and projected alien positions filled the walls. Everyone was tense. Luke Foster, a young pilot with a reputation for daring maneuvers, spoke first. "If they are as powerful as Ethan says, we can't fight them head-on. We need strategy, surprise, and fast response." Clara nodded. "We have to assume the worst. We cannot wait for more warnings. Every second counts. We need to mobilize, gather intelligence, and prepare defenses. Humanity must be ready." Meanwhile, Ethan returned to the damaged station. He walked among the wreckage, thinking about the silence left by the destroyed messenger. Whoever had attacked had done so with precision. They did not want humans to know. Ethan felt anger rising. Someone tried to warn Earth and they were silenced. That fact alone was enough to push him toward action. Humans were clever, adaptable, and resilient. He believed that even against a superior force, Earth could fight back. In the following days, the governments of Earth began to take the threat seriously. Satellites were deployed to scan the outer solar system. Military fleets prepared for immediate launch. Scientists worked on new weapons and defenses. Ethan and Clara coordinated the efforts. They worked day and night, often without sleep. Every piece of data mattered. Every sign of alien movement had to be studied. Then, one morning, the sensors picked up something new. A small fleet of alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were larger and faster than anything humans had ever built. The reports came in from multiple observation points. There was no doubt now. The aliens were real and they were moving toward Earth. Clara looked at the screen, then turned to Ethan. "We don't have much time. If they reach the inner system, we could lose entire cities before we even know they are there." Ethan swallowed hard. "Then we need to act fast. We can't wait for diplomats to decide. Earth must defend itself." Luke Foster, standing nearby, clenched his fists. "Then let's show them what humans can do. We may not have their technology, but we have courage, determination, and brains. That counts for a lot." The three of them began planning. The first step was to gather every pilot and fleet commander willing to fight. They needed intelligence on alien weaknesses. They needed to develop strategies that no one had thought of before. Days turned into nights without rest. Ethan monitored alien signals, trying to decode any messages. Clara coordinated defense plans across Earth's fleets. Luke tested experimental fighter ships designed to be fast and agile, hoping they could outmaneuver the alien vessels. The sense of urgency grew. Every day, more signs indicated that the alien coalition was serious about its plan. Lyra's warning had been accurate. Whoever had silenced her message had underestimated human determination. Ethan remembered her words often. "Do not wait." They became a mantra. Waiting meant death. Acting, even with limited resources, gave humanity a chance. And so, Earth began to prepare for a conflict unlike any in its history. The people of the world did not yet know the full scale of the threat. They only saw the fleets being mobilized, the pilots training, the scientists working tirelessly. But beneath the surface, a new determination was rising. Ethan, Clara, and Luke became symbols of that determination. They were not the most powerful humans, but they were determined, clever, and fearless. And in the coming days, that determination would be tested in ways they could not yet imagine. As the alien ships drew closer, Ethan stared out at the stars. He thought about the silenced messenger, about Lyra, and about the message she had sent. "They thought they could scare us into inaction," he whispered. "They were wrong. Humanity will fight. Humanity will survive. And if they try to silence us again, we will show them that silencing is not enough." Outside, the solar system seemed calm. But in space, dark shadows were moving, silent and deadly. And on Earth, humans were beginning to prepare for a war that could decide the fate of their species. Ethan returned to his console, typing commands with steady hands. Every message sent, every calculation made, every observation recorded was a step towards survival. He knew that the coming days would be dangerous, that sacrifices would be made, and that the enemy was powerful beyond imagination. But he also knew one thing for certain: Earth had been warned. And when the silenced messenger's words echoed through the minds of every human ready to fight, they would not hesitate. Humanity would rise. Humanity would resist. And no alien coalition would silence them without paying a price. Clara Benson stood at the command table, looking at the holographic map of the solar system. Tiny blue dots represented Earth's ships, moving carefully along calculated paths. Far away at the edge of the hologram, faint red specks marked the approaching alien fleet. Every red dot was a threat. Every red dot was a reminder of what Ethan Harper had warned them about. "We have to be ready," Clara said, her voice steady but urgent. "They are not here yet, but when they arrive, we can't afford mistakes. Every second will matter." Luke Foster leaned over the table, tapping at the holographic display. "Their fleet is huge. Their ships are faster than anything we have. If they spot us first, we could lose everything. But they aren't expecting us to be ready. That's our chance." Clara nodded. "We have one advantage: they underestimate humans. They think we are weak, slow, and predictable. That is not true. Humans are clever, resourceful, and willing to fight when survival is on the line." Ethan Harper joined them, carrying a tablet with decoded signals from the alien scouts. "I've been analyzing their patterns. Their ships are powerful, but they follow predictable formations. If we can identify their weaknesses, we can strike before they get too close." Luke frowned. "Patterns? They are aliens. Their technology is beyond us. How can we predict anything?" Ethan tapped the tablet. "It's not perfect. But I've noticed repeated energy pulses from certain ships. They seem to communicate using these signals. If we can jam them, we might create confusion in their fleet." Clara's eyes brightened. "That could give our fighters a chance. We need every edge we can get." For the next several days, Earth's people worked harder than ever before. Spaceports were crowded with engineers, pilots, and technicians. Ships of all sizes were launched from Earth, Mars, and the Moon. Every vessel was tested, repaired, and armed. Some were old military ships updated with new technology. Others were experimental craft, built for speed and maneuverability rather than raw power. Maya Lawson, a young engineer, worked on the experimental drones designed to disrupt alien ships. Her team labored day and night, welding, wiring, and programming. "We may not match their strength," she said, "but we can outthink them. If we can disable even a few ships, it could change the fight." Ethan visited her lab often, watching the drones move in simulated battles. "Your work might save lives," he said. "We need humans who can think fast, act fast, and adapt. These drones could give us that advantage." Meanwhile, Luke and other pilots trained in space simulators. They practiced dogfights, evasive maneuvers, and coordinated attacks. Many of them were nervous. They knew the enemy was far stronger than anything humanity had faced before. But fear was tempered by determination. Every day they trained, every maneuver learned, increased their chances of survival. Clara oversaw the preparation from the command center. She communicated with fleet commanders on Earth, Mars, and orbital stations. She coordinated strategies, calculated fuel requirements, and planned supply lines. It was a massive effort, but she stayed calm and focused. One evening, Ethan sat in the communications room, scanning the outer solar system. He noticed a faint movement near Jupiter's orbit. It was small, just a few ships, but it was enough to make him sit up straight. "They're scouting," he said, calling Clara and Luke. Clara leaned over his shoulder, examining the readings. "We expected this. They're testing our defenses. We can't attack them yet, but we need to be ready to respond." Luke clenched his fists. "I want to fly after them. Show them humans are not easy prey." Clara shook her head. "Not yet. We can't risk losing pilots before the main battle, but we can monitor them and gather intelligence." Over the next few days, the scouts appeared in different regions of the solar system. Each time, Ethan decoded their signals and discovered small patterns in their movement. It was slow work, but every bit of information was valuable. Meanwhile, on Earth, the public was unaware of the true threat. Governments issued vague warnings about potential space hazards and unusual satellite activity. Most people went about their daily lives, not knowing that humanity was preparing for a war that could decide the fate of their species. Clara, Ethan, and Luke spent every waking hour planning, training, and coordinating. They argued sometimes, disagreed on strategies, but they shared a common goal: to keep Earth alive. One night, as they reviewed reports, Maya entered the command center carrying a small drone. "I think this one will work," she said. "It can attach to an alien ship and emit an electromagnetic pulse. It might disable their systems temporarily." Ethan examined the drone. "It's small but effective. If we can get enough of these onto their ships at the right time, it could give our fighters a chance to strike." Luke smiled. "Finally, humans might have a fighting chance. Let's see if we can make these little machines bite back." The days passed quickly. Training continued, drones were tested, and intelligence gathered. Then, early one morning, the sensors picked up a large movement near Saturn. The alien fleet was coming closer. Clara stood at the command center, watching the holographic display. "This is it," she said quietly. "They are moving faster now. We need to be ready." Ethan nodded. "I've analyzed their approach. They're in a tight formation, likely confident in their speed and firepower. We can't face them directly. We need to strike smart, not hard." Luke adjusted his jacket. "Smart or not, we're going to have to fight. There's no way around it." The teams worked through the day, preparing ships, drones, and weapons. Each crew member knew their role. Every action mattered. Communication lines were tested, backup plans created, and contingencies considered. At night, Ethan looked out the station window at the stars. The solar system seemed peaceful, but he knew the calm was only temporary. Somewhere beyond the outer planets, the alien fleet waited. They were confident, experienced, and powerful, but humans had something they did not expect: courage, adaptability, and determination. Clara entered, carrying a cup of coffee. "You should rest," she said. "We all need energy for what's coming." Ethan shook his head. "I can't rest. Every piece of data could be important. Every calculation might save lives. I need to be ready." Clara sighed but smiled. "Then don't stop. Just remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together." As the alien fleet moved closer, strange signals appeared again. Ethan recognized them immediately. The aliens were communicating, coordinating their ships, and testing Earth's defenses. He decoded part of the messages and shared them with Clara. "They are sending scouting waves," he said. "They are probing for weaknesses, looking for patterns in our defenses." Clara nodded. "Then we need to act unpredictable. We need to create traps, mislead them, and use every advantage we have." Luke stood beside them, checking his flight instruments. "I've got a plan. We can use small fighter teams to bait them, lure their scouts into traps, and then hit them with drones. It won't be easy, but it might work." Maya, listening quietly, added, "The drones can disable their ships temporarily. If timed right, we can create openings for human pilots to strike critical points." The three leaders looked at each other. It was risky. It was dangerous, but it was all they had. The alien coalition would not wait. Humans had to act first. As night fell again, the first skirmish began. A small group of alien scouts approached the outer edge of the asteroid belt. Luke piloted a squadron of fighters, leading them carefully. The drones followed, hidden in the shadows of asteroids. Ethan monitored every movement from the station. "Wait for the signal," he instructed. "Do not engage until the drones are in position." The alien scouts moved cautiously, unaware of the trap. Then Maya activated the drones. Tiny machines swarmed onto the alien ships, emitting pulses that disabled engines and shields. Luke and his squadron struck immediately, targeting the immobilized ships. The battle was fast, brutal, and chaotic. Human pilots showed courage and skill, using clever maneuvers and coordinated attacks to take down the larger alien vessels. Clara watched the display, her heart pounding. "This is just the beginning," she said. "We've made them realize humans are not easy prey." Ethan smiled slightly. "Yes, and they underestimated us. That mistake will cost them." By the end of the skirmish, several alien scouts were destroyed or disabled. Humans had won a small but meaningful victory. It was not enough to stop the coalition, but it proved a point. Humanity could fight. Humanity could resist. The small victory lifted morale across Earth's fleets. Pilots trained harder, engineers worked faster, and scientists pushed their research further. The world began to see that survival was possible if humans worked together, used their minds, and never gave up. As Clara, Ethan, and Luke reviewed the results, Ethan thought about the silenced messenger, Lyra, and her warning. Humanity had acted. They had prepared. They had struck back, but the real war was still ahead. Clara placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. "This is only the start. The coalition will respond. We need to be ready for whatever comes next." Ethan nodded. "We will be ready. Humans never back down when survival is at stake. We've shown them what we are capable of, and we will show them more." Outside, the stars shone calmly. But in the darkness beyond the planets, the alien fleet waited, aware that humans were no longer helpless. And on Earth, humanity's determination grew stronger, ready to face the danger that was coming closer with every passing moment. The alien fleet had moved closer to the inner solar system. From the observation decks of Earth's command stations, the massive ships were visible even through long-range telescopes. They were huge, dark, and silent. Every ship was a weapon, designed for destruction. Clara Benson stood at the command table, staring at the holographic map of the fleet. "They are faster than we expected," she said. "We can't let them reach Mars or the asteroid belt. If they get there, they could cut off our supply lines and trap us in the inner planets." Ethan Harper leaned over the display, analyzing the signals from the alien scouts. "They are communicating constantly. I can intercept some of it, but it's complicated. Their tactics are advanced, but they have patterns. Every pattern can be predicted." Luke Foster paced the room. "Predicted or not, we can't match their firepower. We need to hit them in ways they don't expect." Clara nodded. "We'll do that. Our drones, our fighters, and our strategy are all about outsmarting them, not overpowering them. That's our advantage. They assume humans will panic. We won't." The first full engagement began near the outer edge of Mars' orbit. A squadron of alien warships approached, scanning the area with deadly precision. Luke and his pilots waited in the shadows of the asteroid belt, engines silent, cloaked in darkness. "Stay ready," Luke whispered over the comms. "We strike only when we know we have the advantage." Ethan monitored the signals. "They're scanning for energy signatures. Any movement will alert them. Timing is critical." Suddenly, a scout ship broke formation, moving toward a small human supply station. It fired a pulse that disabled communications temporarily. Alarms rang across the command centers on Earth. "They found the station," Maya Lawson shouted. "If they destroy it, supplies for our fighters could be lost." Clara quickly organized a response. "Fighter squads intercept immediately. Ethan, guide them. Luke, take the lead." Luke's squadron sprang into action. The fighters darted between asteroids, using the terrain for cover. The alien ship fired, but the humans moved quickly, dodging every shot. One of Luke's pilots, a young man named Ryan Cole, managed to hit the alien ship's engine with a precision strike. The ship spun out of control and crashed into an asteroid. It was the first significant victory of the engagement, and the human pilots cheered quietly over the comms. "Good work," Luke said, "but this is only the beginning. There are more coming." Indeed, more alien ships emerged from the shadows. Their fleet was vast, and their movements coordinated. Human fighters were outnumbered, but they had the element of strategy. Clara's plan relied on using the small human ships to distract and confuse the enemy, while the drones disabled critical systems. Maya launched the drones, and they swarmed toward the alien ships. Tiny machines attached themselves to the hulls and emitted pulses that disrupted shields and engines. Some alien ships slowed, others spun uncontrollably. Luke seized the opportunity. "All units, attack now. Focus on the disabled ships." The fighters struck with precision, targeting weak points revealed by the drones. Explosions lit up space. Human ingenuity and courage compensated for the lack of advanced technology. The alien ships were powerful, but they had not anticipated human strategy. Back on Earth, Clara and Ethan monitored the battle closely. "They are adapting," Ethan warned. "They've noticed the drones. Their shields are becoming stronger in some areas." Clara nodded. "Then we adapt too. We can't stop now. Every ship we save, every enemy we disable makes a difference." The battle raged for hours. Human pilots used the asteroids and debris for cover, moving unpredictably. The drones continued to disable alien systems. Ethan calculated the patterns, giving Luke precise coordinates for attacks. In the midst of the chaos, Luke noticed a massive alien cruiser approaching the small human station that had first been attacked. "If that ship reaches the station, it could destroy it completely," he said. Clara made a decision quickly. "Luke, take the fastest squadron and intercept. Ethan, guide them. Maya, send all available drones to assist." The pilots accelerated, weaving through debris and dodging enemy fire. The drones attached to the cruiser, emitting powerful pulses that disrupted its engines. Luke and his squadron struck the weak points, and after a tense few minutes, the cruiser was disabled. Back on Earth, the command center erupted in cheers. "We did it," one technician shouted. "We stopped them," Clara remained focused. "It's a victory, but not the war. They will come back. We need to learn from this battle and be ready for the next." Ethan studied the data from the engagement. "Their fleet is strong, but we've proven something important. Humans can fight and survive against them. They underestimated us, and that gave us an edge." Luke landed his fighters back at the orbital station, exhausted but proud. "We've made a difference today, but I know they won't stop. They will come again, bigger and stronger." Maya approached him, holding a new drone prototype. "We'll be ready," she said. "We're learning, adapting. Every battle teaches us something new." Clara addressed the command team. "We need to strengthen our defenses. More drones, more fighter squadrons, and better strategies. We can't win by strength alone. We win by being smarter, faster, and braver." Over the next few days, Earth's fleets repaired and upgraded. Engineers worked non-stop, creating new drones and enhancing existing ones. Pilots trained relentlessly, learning from every maneuver, every engagement. Ethan continued to decode alien signals, uncovering small weaknesses in their communication network. "They rely heavily on these pulses," he explained. "If we can jam them effectively, we can create chaos in their fleet." Clara nodded. "That will give our ships a chance to strike without taking heavy losses. Use every tool we have." Luke tested new flight patterns with his squadron. "We have to stay unpredictable," he said. "They are strong, but they are not perfect. We can force mistakes." The alien fleet, meanwhile, adjusted their strategy. They seemed to recognize the human tactics and moved more cautiously. But they had not faced humans before, and that lack of understanding would be crucial. Ethan studied a signal pattern that suggested the aliens were communicating a single command to their ships. If we can intercept and distort it, their fleet could become disorganized, he explained. Clara smiled. Then we have our next plan. Every small advantage counts. Today it was a battle. Tomorrow it could be the turning point. Luke and his squadron prepared for the next engagement. Pilots checked their ships, weapons, and equipment. They knew the stakes. Each battle could mean the difference between survival and destruction. In the command center, Clara, Ethan, and Maya coordinated the next phase. They analyzed the previous battle, learning from mistakes and planning improvements. Every decision was critical. Every action had consequences. As night fell over Earth, Ethan stared at the stars. The alien fleet loomed silently in the distance, a constant threat. But humanity had shown that it could fight, that it could resist, and that it would not back down. Clara placed a hand on his shoulder. We've made progress, but we can't stop. They will come again, stronger and more prepared. We must be ready. Ethan nodded. We will be. We've learned, we've adapted, and we will fight every step of the way. Humans never give up when survival is at stake. Luke entered, looking at the command table. They think they can crush us. They don't know what humans are capable of. Every battle, every victory, small or large, reminds them that we are not weak. They will learn the hard way. Maya added, and we will be ready. For every attack we have a plan. For every danger we find a way to survive. They may have power, but we have determination, courage, and intelligence. That is something they can never predict. The team watched the stars in silence for a moment, thinking about the coming battles. The alien fleet was vast, strong, and relentless. But humanity had something the aliens did not fully understand: the will to survive, the ability to adapt, and the courage to fight against impossible odds. Clara spoke finally. This is only the beginning. The real war is ahead, but today we proved something important. Humans are not easy prey. And no matter how strong they are, we will make them pay for every step they take toward Earth. Ethan looked out the window at the calm solar system, knowing that the peace was only temporary. Somewhere out there, the alien fleet waited, unaware that humans were learning, growing, and preparing for a fight that could decide the fate of the planet. Luke clenched his fists. Let them come, we're ready, Maya smiled, watching the stars. We will fight, and we will survive. That's what humans do. Clara looked at her team, proud and determined. Then we begin the next phase: strategy, preparation, and courage. That is how Earth will win, no matter the odds. The first full confrontation had shown humans could fight. They had survived against superior technology and learned valuable lessons. But the war was far from over. The alien coalition was powerful, patient, and relentless. And Earth's people would need every ounce of courage, every piece of intelligence, and every brave pilot to face the coming storm. Humanity was ready to prove that survival was not about strength alone, but about heart, mind, and will. And no alien fleet would ever underestimate humans again. The alien fleet did not retreat after the last battle. Instead, it slowed down and spread out. Their ships moved into wide formations, covering large areas of space. They were learning. They were watching how humans fought, how they reacted, and how they planned. Clara Benson noticed the change first. They are being careful now, she said, studying the display. They are no longer rushing forward, they are testing us. Ethan Harper nodded. They lost ships. That surprised them. Now they want to understand us before they strike again. Luke Foster crossed his arms. That means the next attack will be worse, stronger, smarter. Yes, Clara replied, which means we must stay ahead. Across Earth and its colonies, work increased. Factories ran without rest. Engineers slept beside machines. Pilots trained until their bodies ached. Humanity was no longer preparing for a possible war. Humanity was already in one. Maya Lawson led a small team in a quiet research bay. Screens surrounded her, filled with alien data pulled from damaged ships and intercepted signals. "These ships are powerful," she said to her team, "but they are built for order. Everything follows rules. Humans don't fight like that." She began designing something new. Not bigger weapons, not stronger armor, something flexible. Small modular drones that could change behavior during battle. Some would jam signals, others would fake energy readings. Some would attach and do nothing at all, just confuse sensors. Ethan visited the lab and watched the tests. "You're not trying to destroy them," he said. Maya shook her head. "No, I'm trying to confuse them. A confused enemy makes mistakes." Ethan smiled. "That sounds very human." While Maya worked on technology, Clara worked on strategy. She studied old battles from human history, naval wars, air battles, guerrilla fighting, any moment where weaker forces defeated stronger ones through clever planning. She noticed a pattern. Humans won when they forced the enemy to react. "They lead with power," Clara said during a briefing. "We lead with thought. If we let them set the pace, we lose. We must make them chase us." Luke leaned forward. "Hit and move, never stay still." "Yes," Clara said. "We strike small targets, supply ships, signal relays. Anything they depend on." Ethan added, "Their communication network is strong but rigid. If we damage key nodes, their fleet coordination drops fast." The plan was dangerous. Human ships would fly deep into enemy-controlled space. Losses were expected. But doing nothing was worse. The next engagement happened near the orbit of Jupiter. The alien fleet had established a forward command cluster there. Large ships stayed back while smaller units patrolled. Luke led the strike group. "Stay sharp," he said over the comms. "We hit fast and leave faster." Human fighters slipped through space using low-energy travel, hiding among the radiation storms around Jupiter. Alien sensors struggled to track them. Ethan guided them from the command station. "Signal node ahead," he said. "That's our target." Maya's new drones launched first. They scattered, some sending false signals, others going silent. Alien patrols reacted, turning toward phantom threats. Luke smiled. "They're biting." The fighters moved in and fired on the communication relay. It did not explode. It folded in on itself, systems shutting down in sequence. Almost immediately, alien ships nearby began to drift out of formation. "They've lost coordination," Ethan said. "Their commands are delayed." That was the moment Clara had planned for. Human ships struck supply carriers next. Fuel reserves burned. Ammunition stores vented into space. Then Luke gave the order, "Pull out, now." Human fighters vanished back into the storms before the main alien fleet could respond. The damage was small compared to the size of the enemy force, but the effect was large. Alien ships began moving cautiously. Their advance slowed even more. For the first time, the alien coalition hesitated. Back on Earth, morale rose. Not because humans were winning, but because they were surviving and adapting. People began to understand the truth. This war would not be decided by one battle. It would be decided by endurance. Ethan spent long nights decoding new alien transmissions. Some were angry. Some were confused. Some showed internal disagreement. "They did not expect this," he said to Clara. "They expected fear, surrender, chaos." Clara nodded. "Instead, they found resistance." Luke trained new pilots every day. Many were young. Some had never expected to fight in space. "You don't need to be fearless," he told them. "You just need to fly smart and trust your team." Ryan Cole returned to duty after repairs. He sat beside Luke before the next mission. "They're bigger," Ryan said quietly. "Stronger." Luke looked at him. "So were the last ones. You handled them." Ryan nodded, taking a deep breath. Maya's drones continued to evolve. Each battle gave her more data. Each failure taught her something new. One night, alarms sounded across the command center. Large-scale movement detected. The alien fleet was reorganizing. "They're changing strategy," Ethan said. "They're forming a spear formation aimed straight at Earth." Clara's face hardened. They're done testing. They want to end this. Earth's leaders gathered in emergency session. The message was clear. This would not be another small battle. This would be a decisive push. Clara addressed the room. If they reach Earth orbit in force, the damage will be massive. We cannot stop them head-on. Silence filled the room. Then Maya spoke. We don't stop them at Earth, she said. We stop them before they get there. Ethan looked at her. How? She brought up a simulation. Their ships draw massive power during long-range acceleration. If we force them to adjust course suddenly, their systems overload. Luke's eyes widened. You want to make them turn? Yes, Maya replied, into each other. The plan was risky beyond measure. Human ships would bait the spear formation. Drones would flood sensors with false data. At the right moment, jamming pulses would force sudden corrections. If it worked, alien ships would collide or lose control. If it failed, the human fleet would be destroyed. Clara did not hesitate. We do it, she said. The trap was set near the asteroid belt. Human ships spread out, appearing weak and disorganized. The alien spear advanced, confident. Luke led the visible group. Stay calm, he said. Trust the plan. Ethan counted down from the command station. 3, 2, 1. Maya triggered the drones. Space erupted with false signals. Phantom fleets appeared on alien sensors. Energy readings spiked everywhere. Alien ships reacted instantly, trying to correct course. Ethan activated the jammers. Commands collided. Systems lagged. The spear formation bent inward. Then the first collision happened. 2 alien ships clipped each other. Shields flared. Engines failed, more followed. Not a full collapse, but enough. Luke shouted, now, strike the damaged ships. Human fighters surged forward, targeting exposed hulls and power nodes. Explosions rippled through space. The alien fleet pulled back, finally retreating from the asteroid belt. Cheers erupted across Earth's command centers, not because the enemy was destroyed, but because the enemy had been forced to retreat. For the first time, humanity had changed the direction of the war. Clara closed her eyes briefly, letting out a breath she had been holding for weeks. We did it, she said softly. They felt it. Ethan nodded. They will remember this. Luke returned with his squadron, ships scarred but intact. They're not gods, he said. They bleed, they break. Maya leaned back in her chair, exhausted. And we learn. But even in victory, the truth remained. The alien coalition was still vast. Still dangerous, still determined. This war was far from over. As Earth watched the stars that night, something changed. Fear was still there, but now it was mixed with belief. Belief that humans could stand. Belief that humans could fight. Belief that silence would never be their answer again. The messenger had been silenced, but humanity had found its voice, and it was growing louder with every battle. The alien fleet had retreated, but it was not defeated. From the observation decks on Earth, the massive ships were visible again, regrouping beyond the orbit of Saturn. Their numbers were huge. Their weapons were powerful. Their intent was clear. They wanted humanity destroyed. Clara Benson stood at the command table, her eyes scanning the holographic map. They've learned from the last fight, she said. They're reorganizing. This time, it will be bigger, stronger, and more coordinated. Ethan Harper leaned over her shoulder, analyzing the intercepted signals. Yes, but we've learned too. Every battle has taught us something about their ships, their tactics, and their weaknesses. Now we can strike with purpose, not just reaction. Luke Foster, pacing behind them, clenched his fists. They think retreating makes them safe. They don't know we've been preparing for the final push. The leaders of Earth's fleets gathered in the command center. Reports came in from every planet, moon, and orbital station. Supplies had been stockpiled, weapons upgraded, and pilots trained for months. Humanity was ready, not just to survive, but to fight back with everything it had. Clara addressed the room. This is it. We can't hold back. We will strike the alien coalition head-on. We will use every advantage we have. This is total war. Every ship, every pilot, every weapon counts. Our planet, our people, our future, everything is at stake. Ethan looked at her, admiration in his eyes. You're right. Humanity has no choice now. They tried to silence us once. They will regret it, Luke nodded. Then let's show them who they are dealing with. The plan was simple in words but complex in execution. Human fleets would converge on the outer edge of the solar system, baiting the alien forces into traps designed by Maya Lawson and her team of engineers. Drones would disable ships, jam communication, and create false energy signals. Fighters would attack exposed points. And the Earth Command would coordinate every movement in real time. The human ships moved into position. Thousands of vessels of all sizes stretched across the void. Fighters slipped between massive cruisers. Supply ships took their calculated positions. The drones launched silently like swarms of tiny black shadows moving between asteroids. Ethan monitored every signal. They're advancing faster than before. Be ready. They will not hesitate this time. Clara's face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. We'll meet them head-on, but on our terms. Let them come. Luke led the forward strike squadron. Remember speed and coordination. Don't let them hit first. Hit hard, then move. As the alien coalition approached, the first waves of human fighters engaged the outer patrols. Small ships darted in and out of asteroid fields, firing precision shots at engines and shields. The aliens were strong, but human strategy and ingenuity turned the fight in unexpected ways. Maya's drones did their work. They attached to alien hulls, disabling weapons and confusing sensors. Some emitted false signals, tricking alien command units into firing on each other. Explosions erupted in space as ships collided or lost control. Ethan gave precise coordinates over the comms. Target the exposed nodes, focus fire, keep moving. The alien fleet struggled to maintain formation. Their commanders barked orders, but communications lagged and systems malfunctioned. Humans, small in number compared to the enemy, used speed, strategy, and unpredictability to level the field. Luke's squadron dove into the chaos. Pilots moved with practiced skill, exploiting every opening. One by one, alien ships fell to human ingenuity, engines disabled, shields jammed, weapons destroyed. Clara directed the fleets from Earth. Every decision, every calculation was critical. She moved squads, redirected drones, and adjusted attack patterns. Humanity was no longer reacting. They were leading the battle. Hours passed in the void of space, each one stretching longer than the last. Explosions lit the darkness. Fires flared on alien ships. Signals were jammed, engines failed, and the aliens realized that humanity was no ordinary opponent. Ethan monitored the central alien command ship. It's vulnerable, he said. If we take it down, the fleet will lose coordination. Clara nodded. Then that's our target. Luke, lead the strike team. Use drones to open a path. Luke's squadron accelerated, weaving through space debris and fire. Maya's drones moved ahead, disabling shields and confusing enemy targeting. The strike team reached the command ship, firing at exposed weak points. Explosions rippled across the alien vessel. Its systems failed and the ship drifted powerless. Signals from the fleet faltered. Chaos spread among the alien forces. Back on Earth, technicians cheered quietly. Humanity had done the impossible. They had disrupted the alien coalition's command structure. Clara looked at the display. Now is the moment. Push forward. Human fleets surged, attacking vulnerable ships. The aliens fought back, but without central command, coordination failed. One by one, ships were disabled, destroyed, or forced to retreat. In the midst of battle, Luke noticed a massive cruiser moving toward Earth. They're trying to break through, he said. If it reaches the inner planets, thousands could die. Clara reacted instantly. Divert all resources. Stop that ship at all costs. Fighter squadrons accelerated toward the cruiser. Drones jammed its systems. Explosions tore through its hull as human pilots attacked critical points. The massive ship slowed, then fell apart in a cascade of fire. Luke breathed heavily, watching the last fragments disappear. "They won't try that again," he said. Ethan looked at the remaining alien fleet. "They're retreating. They've learned something humans rarely show. We fight and we don't give up." Clara nodded. "This is a turning point. The war is not over, but we've shown them that Earth will never be silent or passive." Across Earth, people watched the skies. Satellites and observatories confirmed what the command center already knew. Human fleets had survived the greatest threat in history. Humanity had fought back against overwhelming odds and lived to tell the tale. In the command center, Clara, Ethan, Luke, and Maya gathered around a central table. Exhaustion weighed on them, but their eyes shone with determination. Ethan spoke first. "We did it. The alien coalition knows now that humans cannot be ignored." Maya smiled. "And we learned. Every battle taught us something new. Every mistake made us stronger." Luke leaned back, rubbing his shoulders. "They thought they could silence us. They tried to scare us into inaction. Instead, we fought. And we survived." Clara placed a hand on the table, looking at her team. "Humanity has a choice. We can be afraid or we can rise. We chose to rise, and we will keep rising no matter what comes next." For days after the battle, the aliens did not advance. Their fleet retreated beyond the outer edges of the solar system. Their command structure was weakened. They had underestimated humans, and they would not make that mistake again. On Earth, engineers repaired ships. Pilots trained harder. Scientists and strategists studied every piece of data from the battle. Humanity had survived the impossible, but the work was not over. The war would continue. The alien coalition would return. Yet for the first time, humans were confident. They knew they could fight. They knew they could adapt. They knew that courage, intelligence, and determination were as powerful as the most advanced weapons. Clara walked through the command center, looking at her people. "We have sent a message to every corner of this planet and beyond. Humans are not to be silenced. Humans will not surrender, and humans will fight to protect their home, their people, and their future." Ethan looked out the observation window at the calm solar system. Stars glimmered silently, unaware of the struggle that had just taken place. Somewhere beyond the planets, the alien fleet regrouped, but humanity had sent its own signal. Earth would not be an easy target. Luke joined him. "They think they are superior. They have power, speed, and weapons, but they do not have us. They do not have our will. And they do not understand what humans are capable of when their backs are against the wall." Maya joined them, holding a new drone design. "And we are just getting started. Every day, every battle, we will learn. We will improve. They may return, but we will be ready." Clara returned, placing a hand on the console. "The war is far from over, but today we made history. Today we showed that humanity cannot be silenced. Today we proved that Earth will fight no matter the odds." Ethan, Luke, and Maya nodded. They were tired, scarred, and wary, but they were proud. They had faced the impossible, survived, and struck back. Humanity had learned that silence could be broken. Fear could be met with courage. And no matter how powerful the enemy, humans could rise to the challenge. As night fell over Earth, across the oceans and continents, people looked to the skies, unaware of the battles fought above them. But the message had been sent. Humans would fight. Humans would survive. And humanity had declared total war, not in anger but in determination, in hope, and in the unyielding will to protect their home. Somewhere in deep space, the alien coalition knew it too. They would return. But they had already learned a lesson. Humanity was no ordinary species. Humanity would not be silenced. Humanity would fight. And humanity would endure. The stars above Earth were calm, but beneath them a new resolve had been forged. The messenger had been silenced, but humanity's voice had grown louder than ever. It would echo across the galaxy, a warning and a promise. Earth would never be conquered and humans would never be broken.